So I will, before I go into my presentation, so what I will do first present, and then Dr. Jerome will present. And then we have Alex and Sammy. Sammy is also our mentors from industry, and Alex is our former students, and they will talk about their experiences as well. So I'll share the screen and start with that. So what really I should emphasize that a lot of people asking that since AI is growing, do we need an AI scientist? I used to say data scientist, now AI is becoming more popular. Technically, data science is an AI, and I call AI scientist. And people worry that if there is so much AI is growing, that AI is gonna eliminate AI scientist jobs. And that's kind of a myth. Jobs where AI will keep increasing significantly. Based on McKinsey's statistics, that in 2030, they expect like 50 million AI scientists required. Because there's so many jobs required, so many new technologies are produced, they're creating data. I'm in medicine. I'm also myself creating some medical technologies, but each one is gonna generate so many data set has not been generated before. So one of the example that I'm developing an eye technology for contact lens for eye pressure measurement. That currently people were only taking 4 or 5 measurement in a year. With this technology, you can have maybe 10 measurements a day. Also, I worked in a genetics sequence technology before, where people were able to generate the human genome sequencing. Maybe it used to be 1 year first genome sequence or a couple years. Now you can get your genome sequence in 1 day. So there's MRI data, there are other medical data, there's social media data, and there's finance data. Everything's so growing. We need people, we need data scientists to understand and to make something out of it. We specifically focus on medical data. I wholeheartedly believe that we can develop some life-saving technologies with AI. And then we can just take this example, the other fields, you can do so much with AI, so much impact. So this gonna keep growing. And then that's why we are here. That's why we are focusing AI. That will be the leading edge, especially I call this century the century of AI. And yeah, those statistics, some of them here. AI market size in 2020 valued at $62 billion. And this is gonna grow especially in 4 years later, it's gonna grow by 40%. And again, McKinsey is projected that AI is gonna generate $13 trillion to a global economy by 2030. You know, these numbers globally exponentially increase. So there's some other highlights here, it's like a LinkedIn report that there is an annual growth rate of AI jobs 74%. That's a huge growth rate. So I mentioned that AI involved in so many industries. I will just briefly skip those. And the one thing that people are struggling in AI in job market is they lack hands-on experience. That is by Kaggle survey. Show that majority of data scientists is lacking a hands-on experience because that's not given in traditional education field. And I and Dr. Jaran is also, we're teaching in traditional systems. Because of the size and limitations, they cannot get hands-on experience. And also another survey by Coursera, 57% of data scientists, they lack real-world experience, and they believe this is an important part of data science skills. Another Google study showed that the traditional academic qualifications were not strong predictor of the quality of the employees. So, therefore, we identified that 3 problems: gaps in real-world application, limited mentorship, and lack of experience. So I will actually let Dr. Jaran talk about the parts that is well how what the data science learning process. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So let me share my screen, and then hopefully you will see the presentation, right? Yeah, so I just saw when, thank you, Dr. Badai, for the introduction. I just saw when Dr. Badai was talking, one of the participants just posted a message saying there is no jobs, job openings for like a new data scientists or somebody who's lacking some experience. That's exactly what we are talking about. When we started Magnimind in the Bay Area, and then maybe we were having, before COVID, we were having these live meetups in the Bay Area. And then when we were making these workshops on machine learning, I will say for each workshop, there were at least 100 people were coming. When we were making these online workshops, 2,000 people were joining. There was this huge interest from all the different, disciplines, people from different disciplines at different levels in their career in learning data science. So the interest in data science still continues, but it changed a little bit now. So we have to be also aware of that, right? So we have a large group of people who don't know much about data science, who want to learn the basics first. And then we have another group of people who joined data science AI from their own disciplines, mostly coming from software engineering. And they bring their own experiences from their own disciplines. And then the definition and the type of work that a data scientist does is stretched to right and left. Okay, so we have to be aware of this. So somebody saying whoever never deployed a model doesn't know anything about containers should not be considered as data scientists is one idea, is one opinion. Another person might say whoever doesn't know a difference between algorithms cannot be considered as data. So people can say different things about what a data scientist does. Anyway, so we are at a point where we have a lot of people have interest in data science, lacking experience. So that is the number one problem. Another problem I see, and then I always say this every time I teach any course, is that we have so much of resources available online. So much available. You don't need anybody to learn from. You don't need to go to school. You don't need to pay for anything to actually take a course from. So everything is available. So much material. The problem is, in general, I'm not saying everyone, but in general, we may not be disciplined enough to start and then finish one topic from A to Z and then learn from it. So this figure is anybody who learned machine learning, right? Andrew Ng. He has all these online machine learning courses available. So I sat down and then took how many people actually watched his lectures online at YouTube. And then I made this as of actually March 17th. That's when I did this small study. So as you see, these are the numbers. So the first chapter, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, these are the number of the lectures. And the second chapter, 2.1, 2.2. At first, people are watching, like 1.6, 1.7 million people are watching the first lecture. And then this number drops sharply to 500K. And then after the second chapter, the number keeps dropping. So that tells something to us. And then I see this trend in other very well-known YouTube channels too. So people, I call this the tutorial carousel. So unfortunately, so we are very excited to learn about it. We just joined the group, and then after a couple of lectures, lessons, we give up. And then we look for another resource because things get more difficult as we get deeper into the topic. So that's the second problem I see with students and with myself trying to learn a new topic. So as Magnimind, what we want to do is we want to fill the gap for this lack of experience, as well as try to motivate students so that they can stay on track. So how are we going to do that? We are going to let students complete projects. And then for that, we designed this program where we are going to introduce 3 modules first. And each module has a different target. So the first module is going to let students work on 2 machine learning projects. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And then the second module is going to focus on NLP. And third module is going to focus on deep learning. And then the students are going to join in the fourth module, which is going to last at least 9 weeks. That students are going to work on actually project in a startup for the entire duration of 9 weeks. So during all this period, our goal is having students engage in the projects and then to keep them motivated to answer their questions, to make things more personal. Right? So we are going to assign mentors to a student. It's almost one-on-one mentorship program. So student and the mentor is going to sit down and then go over the code student has written, and then mentor is going to give suggestions on how the problem should be addressed. And then student can ask questions if he is having any problem, any trouble with the project, so that receive some feedback immediately. So we saw that this has been very actually, I mean, very impactful on the student success. This has been our experience. But this is not easy to achieve. So it requires a lot of work, both on the student side, also on the mentors, on Magnimind side. So we don't have a very large size of student body. And then that's also something that maybe at this point, maybe we don't want to afford. So we want to keep things in a manageable scale so that we can focus on students. Again, going back to the projects, so the projects, they may change. For example, for deep learning, I mean, 2 years before, we didn't have GPT hype, right? Now we have GPT, we have large language models. So for deep learning, for example, one of the projects, again, we have multiple projects. One of the projects can be a project the student is going to use large language models, maybe train a large language model, or integrate it into a different project. So this will give students a confidence on talking about this new topic. Because if you, again, watch or listen to or read how people are hiring nowadays. So they're asking basic questions to see if you actually know the basics. For example, anytime I talk with a student who claims to be, who claims he took data science courses. So the very basic thing, does the student know really well about linear regression? And then, I mean, if somebody, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who actually went through machine learning courses may be missing a lot of very important points in a very basic, very first model, linear regression. That's the first thing. And second thing, when they're hiring, they are going to also look at whether you are following the trends. Right, so they don't want to hire someone who's not following the trends, who's not aware of what's happening around. So that's why we also, from time to time, update the projects reflecting what's happening. Another thing about deep learning is we want to also give different skills. For example, a project can be more about image processing. Another project can be more about text processing. In terms of machine learning, we are providing different options for the student to pick from. That is also, I saw that that's been beneficial for the student because student may pick a project that may align with that student's interest. Maybe student has some background on a certain topic, say finance, and then we have a project on finance. So maybe student will be more interested in working on that project. So what we do with the projects is once a student gets the project, he or she has 1 week to finish the project. During this 1 week, we are going to meet 3 times. And of course, in between, student can ask questions. And mostly it depends on mentor, but when I am the mentor, I may meet more than 3 times. Okay. And then we are going to sit down and then go through the code. I don't know if anybody ever sat down and went through your code line by line. You will see the difference. You will see the difference. You will see how much you are improved when somebody looks at your code and then makes suggestions and then asks you questions. I know nowadays I'm teaching, right? Every time. Nowadays we can get code and I mean, we can divide the problem into small pieces and then prompt a large language model get the code. We know. But again, writing that prompt and then interpreting that code and then integrating that code into your larger project is another thing. So this is how we design the project. I don't, let me, here, whether you understood the problem correctly, how you process the data, why you chose a model, how you evaluate your model performance, how is your code quality, why you wrote the code that way. And then lastly, are you ready for deployment? Are you ready to deploy this model? So that's another thing that I see very important, as very important. Again, a lot of students know how to create machine learning pipeline, but when it comes to deployment, we lack experience on that. So we try our best to give that experience as well. Okay, so let me stop here because I know that Alex and then Sami are also waiting. And then later on, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I will actually talk about program a little bit more, and then I will give chance to Sami and Alex. As we progress over the years as Magnimind, we also update our program based on industry's need, and we identify new problems. And someone asked actually earlier that there's really no jobs in entry level. That's the truth. That's the biggest problem now, that people look for experience. But how are you going to get experience if you don't get a job? And people look for real world experience, real job experience. That's a huge problem now. It's the most critical problem. And there's internships are really limited. When you go apply, or there's only, mostly those top companies are open few internship. Maybe there's 1,000 times more people apply for the same internships. There's also a challenge to get them. So there's a chicken egg issue that we are trying to solve. Let me see what screen I should. So for what in Magnimind, what we offer is, we offer real-world experience and projects. As Dr. Jaram mentioned, is a heavy project-oriented, and actually 2 project phase. One is project-based training is 6 weeks. So you do so many projects to get ready a company experience. And then another 9 weeks, we assign you the companies you do projects with. So you do work on those real projects with. And in 9 weeks, you will also get a support and mentor if you need it. But ideally, in that 9 weeks, you should be ready to perform the actions by yourself, because that's what the jobs will require. If you struggle yourself, you learn the best. And Alex may talk about this one when he has the chance. But if those parts that you struggle and cannot overcome, that's what we have, those mentors. So just think about it. You hire the jobs. I see people getting hired the jobs, and even they get the jobs, they struggle. Unfortunately, I see people that they lose the job because they cannot do it. That's why we tell the people that we are getting you ready to do the jobs, not only to get the job. The keeping the job is the struggle. So that's why nowadays companies don't want to hire inexperienced people, because people come out of schools, and we've seen that too. We've seen a lot in our boot camps. And yeah, you did well in grades and all that. You did well in class project, but real world is different and people struggle. So that's why we want to bridge that one. So we have real world projects. We have 5+ mentors in different stages. And that also includes our career coaches and interview practice people and our project people. And sometimes we have people from companies, they assist in the projects as well, not only Magnimind people. And then you will have a company experience, the project experience, and basically you will see what you will struggle in the industry. And then it's a good training, because if you overcome this one, you're ready to real one. That's why they will get hired. And one of the big plus with us, we're a Silicon Valley based company. We are at Stanford and Santa Clara, San Jose, the good universities around. We are in academic industry supported people. We're in the core in Silicon Valley, heart of Silicon Valley, where we are connected with all these people. We have more than 20+ mentors and faculty from different domains. And I always say Silicon Valley exposure is really important. Yes, not every technology is developed in Silicon Valley, but I can tell you that most leading technology starts here or comes here first, even though it starts somewhere else. So being in here, having exposure to Silicon Valley culture means that you are aware of all these leading components. So you'll be there. So that's what we provide. 5 specifically. We have projects, we have mentors from top companies, practice interviews. You have an access to our full stack program and lectures. You have career coaches, interview sessions, and resume support and connection. So some of the projects that has been going on, the sarcopenia disease panel, the disease panel we're building with the doctors and some companies and partner companies. We work on, like, some of our partners work on Verizon stores data sets, and then predicting some customer models for Verizon stores, for example. We have MRI brain cancer project going with universities. We have a CRO platform for clinical studies. We work with some companies building an AI-based CRO platform. Stock market AI prediction platform students are working on. There are a lot of projects on the marketing side that students are working on. And sports AI is another one. There's something here that we started to have a lot of LLM projects with companies. Large language model, now most companies are looking for. I think half of our projects nowadays is LLM based, because everyone is switching to that area. And so when you apply, we interview with you. So we get a call, you get an interview with technical one. If you are qualified, if you pass our academic team's approval, you get a, you can pay, and you can pay, and you can start our program. So we have a different payment structures. The $6,000 upfront payment, $8,000, 8 times 1,000 per month, monthly payments. But you can prefer a deferred tuition payment, $1,000 upfront and $1,000 in 5 months. And then the remaining $8,000 you pay when you get to job. There are 3 different payment options. So let me see here. Alex is here. He can actually give his insights and his experience on the program and Alex, if you're available, please.
Yeah, hello. So, I work with Professor Yasin and Bade in their mentorship program. And for me, honestly, the experience did help me a lot. Only because initially when I first started, I was like, okay, because I did have a bit of background of bootcamp experience with data science and data analytics. However, I wasn't too sure, and because I just wanted more kind of real world experience, because with other bootcamp programs, I even am a teaching assistant for one. that they have, like, everything's always guided through and walked through and everything. And from what I realized, like, that's never really the real case when you actually get hired for the job. And then when I was working with Bidet and everyone, it was like I had kind of more like this free reign, open sandbox sort of thing, where I could like talk them through what I wanted to do, things I wanted to explore, experiment, and stuff like that. And honestly, just working on different types of projects, the NLP, the cancer image detection, nanotube detection. A lot of these projects, even though it's like I was jumping around from one project to another, then to another, that's actually what I've been experiencing right now, because the company I currently work with is Gainwell Health, where they hired me on their data science team. And we're jumping from one project to another one, with working with episodes of care, and then just trying to establish a dashboard. Then another one working with cost savings, modeling plans and stuff like that. So I'm always jumping from one project to another. And the thing is, it's like and Magnimind actually just helped me prepare to be like, okay, I'm ready to jump from one task to another and kind of implement to see where I can throw improvements, see where I can look, investigate. And there's a whole lot of collaboration with your coworkers as well. That too, which, like, asking questions, having code reviews is the biggest thing. Which, like, if like anyone else, you're always terrified when someone has to review your code and then you have to speak about it in front of a bunch of professionals too. And we have code reviews literally twice a week for like standard code reviews, and then we as well as we have meetings for stats and machine learning topics that anyone wants to bring up or go over every week. And my first code review was even just rebuilding the script from the Ohio team, where they miscalculated how they were determining the pass fail determination against the threshold value for each quarterback. It's the abbreviation is PAP, but something provider, something. But anyways, but it was just even just reviewing the threshold value, redoing the code, because they did a combination of using Databricks, PySpark, and SQL and stuff like that. However, when the code could have just been done in SQL, in my opinion, is where I ended up breaking down their code, just doing a bunch of CTEs, and then getting that same output instead of and the script runs in roughly 4 minutes, where their old script took about maybe a half hour to run because of everything they were trying to implement and things that were a bit redundant that there were no need to include. And like finding these little cleanup things, it's just working with these little things that you have to clean up among others. It's like that's what like I honestly wasn't ready for that. And then but I was just happy I was able to actually do everything I needed to do, and then even put in my own 2 cents of how we can improve as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to be where I am at now without the help of Bidet and Yasin, because I work with them extensively. I remember asking them lots of questions throughout the boot camp program and stuff like that. And they were always happy to help. And honestly, if you're looking for a program to kind of prepare you for what data scientist job is, working on a team, and it's and basically coming up with your own ideas, coming up with like your own methods, your own ways to go about solving specific situations that could arrive in. I believe Magnimind prepares you for that, because again, I have I'm a teaching assistant at other bootcamp programs, and they pay close to $15,000 for their program. And it's, in my opinion, it's nothing as close as more interactive and it's a lot more bang for your buck, as well as the experience that you get from it. Because everyone at the other boot camps, in my opinion, again, because they have access to multiple assistants, where a lot of them often at times just tell them the answers rather than help them walk them through documentation or actually help them think for themselves. And that's the really hard part, when you actually have to start thinking for yourselves, where you don't have that clutch. And they're there to make sure it's like, okay, they'll guide you in the direction. They're not going to give you the straight answer. But the thing is, this kind of helps you get more comfortable with being uncomfortable in certain types of these situations, because you're working with PhD level professors. And here, just to be working alongside these types of projects, honestly, can be intimidating. And especially with other people who have 12 years in the industry, 10 years in the industry. I only have close to 3 years, but with the training and then with the practice I got through the mentorship program, I'm making it. I actually just finally got my I'm switching from contract to a permanent hire at the moment as well. And I just got the news yesterday. So, and it helped me out. I wouldn't have made it if honestly I didn't get the preparation that I needed. And some people need a little more help than others, and that's totally fine. Whatever works for you at the end. But in my opinion, I do suggest this program is more bang for your buck, and you get a lot more experiences and more real world projects and experiences than what other programs. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for those insights. And yeah, I will try to answer some of these questions as much as I can. And some of those questions we cannot answer, some are private. And for the Europe one, all our programs are online, and is it through Zoom, and it is 101. This is really important. Your meetings with our mentors 101. And so it's based on their schedule. We have so many students from Europe, it shouldn't be a problem. Only thing for Europe, we don't offer income share agreement because it's only valid for US people and the people who has a proper visa status or work status. For Europe fees, we don't have VAT. We don't include or charge that, and that VAT is not asked in the California state, so that's why you don't have to worry about it. Let me see.
But may I answer a couple of questions?
Sure.
So there is one question at the very beginning, so maybe we missed it. So if you are a subject, so I didn't know what SME means, so I asked, so I didn't suddenly remember it, but we noticed that subject matter expert. So actually, that's a good question. If you are an expert on a specific subject, let's say you are in healthcare, you are in the healthcare industry, you are in the retail industry, you are in the finance industry, you know what you're doing, you have been doing this for a while. Now you want to switch to data science on that subject matter. I think that's very much desirable. So because you can be a data scientist, but when you become a data scientist, you will see you are going to be working on many different projects. And each project requires a certain level of context knowledge. So that you have to actually study and then learn about it. Otherwise, you cannot solve the problem. But if you are an expert of a domain, and then on top of that, you learn data science, I think it's going to be very desirable. But the following question was, do you need Python and this and that? Yes. So definitely, you have to know, you have to learn Python, and it's not a big deal, believe me. But I think the basic requirement is you have some idea about what programming is. That's where we start from. Then learning Python is just in 3 weeks you can get the basics. I'm not saying you're going to be an expert on Python, but the basics that you need to move forward in 3 weeks you can get it, as long as you have some idea about what programming is. There was another question about can I join this program, for example, for a specific topic like optimization of accelerators. So for that, I mean, each one of us also have our own expertise, right? So we all, as mentors, we have our own expertise as well. That would be nice if we work on our own expertise. But if there is a specific problem that you are working on and you want to work on that as part of this mentorship program, then we can help you. If you bring us the data, if you bring us the problem, we can help you continue working on that problem. But again, each problem requires its own domain knowledge. We may, as a mentor, I am more knowledgeable on, say, retail and then healthcare, right? But if there is a totally different domain, then I need some help from someone who knows the domain. If you bring the data, if you bring the problem, if you bring your knowledge of the domain, definitely we can sit down and work together.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Jha. So one thing that if you guys, when we interview, if we don't find you're ready for a mentorship program, if you're borderline, we might offer 2 months transition period where you will be trained by
He disconnected. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, you will be trained by our other mentors to get ready for the mentorship slash project phase. So we have that transition period for the people who are borderline. If that is not good, we also we might recommend some training yourself to get ready, and you may come for maybe months later.
Actually, Dr. Bade, so this 2 months training period, we recently began to implement this, and then I think students are benefiting from that. Again, if you are significantly lacking if you have some significant gap to begin with our mentorship program, you can start with this 2 months preparation program. There is an additional fee for that, but again, it's not this. So please talk with our friends, so they may give you some idea about how you can combine these two programs into a better price for you. But the thing is, again, there's going to be a person, a mentor who's going to be following you weekly throughout these 2 months. They will answer your questions, will follow your progress. Again, you'll be on track. You're not going to be left by yourself alone. So that's very important.
Great. So let's see if you guys have any more questions.
So somebody's asking what is Andrew Ng's channel. Please just search for it, Andrew Ng Machine Learning, Salman, so you will see that. Okay,
Yeah.
On Google.
Okay, so let's see. I try to look at the questions. I may have a problem. Okay, great. So if you have actually, okay, one question comes. Yes, we have like around 80 hours of videos that comes with this program. Different lectures like machine learning, deep learning, Python, data analytics, stat math, NLP. We have so many of those programs comes with it.
I mean,
We're not planning.
Sorry for the interruption. So when you join the program, we are going to give you links to these videos of our full stack program that we had earlier. But we are not going to provide you weekly mentor for those recordings. We are only going to provide you weekly mentor for those recordings if you also join in that preparation program. So when you join our mentorship program, you will have access to our recordings. But if you join our preparation program before mentorship, they will also assign you a mentor who's going to lead you through this 2 months of recordings and then preparation.
Yeah. So let's say you're in project phase, you're working on project and you see some knowledge gap and you have access to those training programs and you can go and work on your gap and do your projects. And that's we have a lot of resource with it. Yeah. And yeah, like you can make the application, have the interview, and even before that, we can have a short call. Our team can have a short call with you if you don't know if you will fit. But I tell the general flow, students we have, we get a lot of students from other boot camps. The main problem with it that they don't get the experience for this boot camps. And some stays in a lot of knowledge base. And then since they don't get experience, they don't have, they cannot be really compete for job market. I will talk briefly about the job market. There has been more than 300,000 layoff last year in IT. that caused a lot of like a competition. The layoff, one of the main reason for layoff, the companies were hiring recklessly. It's not that they hired so many people than they needed, and that caused overflow. And is also economy was not great either. That's why there were layoffs. Now it's been equilibrating, it's coming back. Maybe in the next 4 to 5 months it will be more better. So therefore, you be ready. We always tell people, you be ready, you be really competitive, then you get the job. I always tell, if you can work on our companies, if you're qualified for it, if you can get the job done, don't worry, you will get the job elsewhere too. Just the main focus should be, can you get AI jobs done? Many people, even people come to us with master's degree, they cannot work on projects. Okay, we see that, we experience that. That's why companies don't want to hire some people without experience. That's why we're trying to bridge that gap. So we have Raymond ask for the link for so we have like, just think about it. We don't have that joint. We upgrade the program, mentorship program. Just think like that. We have full stack program there. We are not offering that now. I'm not sure when we're gonna offer it. We have a mentorship program that we're offering it. So you'll get the full stack experience, self-learning with a mentor guided in the 2 months period. Okay, and a very combined deal. Let's see, portfolio. So technically, portfolio development is your experience and projects with companies that we work with is your portfolio development. So experience and company. So there you will have so many projects that you will include in your portfolio. There are different kinds of portfolio. Let's say you get training in the schools and you have project phases where that your portfolio and project phases you include as a project experience. But when you interviewed, companies understand that if you really work on a full pipeline project, it's not like a capstone project, data, everyone comes with the same project experience. That's different. So in company, that what we provide in company environment and new projects, new story you can tell. So the portfolio that no one else is going to tell, you will be tell. That's what people look for, portfolio experience. Okay, let me see the question. I'm trying to answer the question. Some of you just send to our speakers only. Okay. I think that's all. Let me see elsewhere. So good question. What level of math is required? So we really expect that people come with some stat math background, some analytical skills like calculus 1, 2, 3, well. And we still have a program classes and support for the math stats background. So to become a data scientist, especially machine learning engineer and scientist, you need to have a good math. But if you have really basic math and good basis, it's fine. If you're coming from science, engineering backgrounds, and some analytical backgrounds, is a good fit. But if you have not done such well in the math, it could be a problem. But you don't have to be an expert in the math. So, okay, let's see. What other questions? Oh, great. So if you have further questions, and you can always send us an email And we have info@magnimindacademy.com. You can send my name, Murat@magnimindacademy.com. And happy to answer those questions. And even though you send to me, you also send an info, you get more faster response there. Hope this is helpful and hope you just we work together. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Alex. And hope to see you. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.